This is the tombstone of Orion Perseus Howe, the youngest recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor ever given. And you are walking the ground with General Grant. This is the Springfield, Missouri National Military Cemetery. And the story of Orion Perseus Howe is one of great interest, I should think. Howe was born in 1848 in Portage County, Ohio. In 1852, when his mother had died, his father, William, moved the family to Waukegan, Illinois. When the war started in '61, William, the father, enlisted in the United States Army and was attached to the 55th Illinois. And he took with him his two sons, Orion, age 12, and David, age 14. They were musicians, as was their father. They were assigned to be stretcher bearers and messengers when combat started. They fought under my command in the Army of the Tennessee at Shiloh, and then at Corinth, and then at Vicksburg, where Orion's story of the Medal of Honor begins. On the first assault against the Confederate works on May the 19th of '63 at Vicksburg, the 55th Illinois, under General Sherman's command, assaulted the Great Redan. They were pinned down, savage fire, taking great losses, and they were running low on ammunition. Colonel Mamborg of the 55th sent several runners to get ammunition. Now, of the several runners that went, all of them were killed except Orion P. Howe. Young Howe was running across the field under a murderous fire of canister, grape, and musket balls, and he stumbled several times, and at least one witness wrote, "We thought he was dead," but he'd only fell prostrate. He jumped up and began running again several times. He was finally hit by a minie ball in the left thigh that knocked him down. When stretcher bearers came up to take him to the rear, he refused and demanded that he be taken to General Sherman, and unbelievably, the stretcher bearers complied, because he said, "I'm not going until I tell the general we need ammunition." So they took him to General Sherman, and he demanded of Sherman, he got his attention, and said, "Send ammunition to the 55th Illinois. They desperately need it." And Sherman finally agreed. Then, and only then, did young Howe agree to be taken to the rear for medical treatment. Sherman actually mentioned this in a letter to Secretary of War Stanton. Colonel Mamborg sent a letter to the Secretary of War and mentioned Howe. In fact, Sherman mentioned Howe specifically in his after-action report. And he mentions the tale in his memoirs in Volume 1. And he said, "I do not know what became of Howe, except that President Lincoln appointed him to the United States Naval Academy because he was too young to go into West Point." At the tender age of 15 years, November the 30th of 1864, Howe was mustered out as a corporal with 4 years combat experience and having fought in at least 14 engagements. He went to the Naval Academy for 2 years, and then for unknown reasons he resigned, and he would have been in the class of 1870. He then became a cowboy, he became a sailor, but ultimately went to New York City Dental School and became a dentist. And then found himself, after some years of practice, living in Springfield, Missouri, and being a dentist here. He was awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor in 1896. And Dr. Howe died in 1930, having just turned 81 years of age. So Corporal Orion Perseus Howe of the 55th Illinois. Oh, and I should like to add as well that he was wounded on May the 19th in '63. He was in hospital until December of '63, and on Christmas Day of 1863, after 2 years of service, having been seriously wounded, he re-enlisted in the 55th Illinois, serving out another 2 years or another year, and finally being mustered out on November 30th of 64, a veteran of more than 14 engagements. But Dr. Howe died after practicing many years in Springfield, Missouri, just a few days after his 81st birthday, and he rests here in the Springfield National Military Cemetery in Springfield, Missouri. You should come pay Corporal Howe, the youngest Medal of Honor winner, a visit and pay your respects to Corporal Howe. And you have been walking the ground with General Grant at the Springfield, Missouri National Military Cemetery, paying homage to Orion Perseus Howe, the youngest ever Medal of Honor winner in the American Civil War.